how do we leverage the primary AI platforms and get a new level of result and efficiency? But in particular, what if there was a way to get the perfect prompt for every image without lots of training? More importantly, how can you leverage AI to create powerful images that you can use in a practical way for your marketing and advertising? But most of us have not got our brain wrapped around the full power of AI-based image generation. And today you're going to learn more about that if we can do this together. But let's start the first point. We need to ground our prompt school in practical marketing cases. Would you agree with that? How do we get something here that we can actually use to drive a needle? Here's the first thing. I know many of you from the beginning are familiar with Canva, but I'm going to show it to you in a different way today. So this is a template, and I'm going to go right now to Canva. I'm going to show you some things, and I'm going to suggest some things. And remember, this is not just for ads. I'm using an ad because it's a fast way to teach you and because we're getting ready to run new ads in 300 and 400. But this synoptic layered approach or the web page that you want to build in your funnel can use this exact technique to produce imagery that will work on your web page. So Canva is easy to use, and it's designed to be easy for people with no experience. That's different than Figma. And you'll notice that I am on my page in Canva, and I've already has all these templates. Everybody see all templates? And I selected Facebook post, and now I'm getting a whole bunch of templates for Facebook. Do you see this? I'm going to start to do this in front of you. I'm going to start to share with you how it works. We're going to do it together so you can really learn this. So let's see how this works. Well, I picked a template. Here it is. Now, I just picked this from that page that you saw. It goes on and on and on and on and on. That's just Facebook ads. We could have done anything. But here's the problem. The ability to stand up an attractive ad has little to do with the ability to get a conversion. In 300, I'm going to teach you a heuristic that helps you design an ad that produces the highest response rate. I'm not doing that now. I'm going to teach you how to manipulate the elements of the ad now so that you can do that with McLeod's methodology as things progress. And so let's begin. If you follow with me, I want you to notice how this works. This is a template. See the image? See the word? See how this all changes? All I did, and by the way, there is a free plan that most of you would find adequate. If you really have to pony up, you're talking $10 a month to get used here. So this has rich value, even if you're not a designer. I can change any word, and I want you to see how easy that is. Boom, I click on the word. Look, you know how to do text. There's the font size. There's the font type. Just type. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody see that? Now, we're not working on words now. We'll do that in 300. We're working on the image. So that's not a bad image. It doesn't do anything. And I don't think the one I replaced it with necessarily does. I just want you to see the method. So there it all is. We're going to come back to this. This leads us to a question. How do we get a quality image fast to use in all of our work? That's what we should know right now. Here we go. So you have that piece. But the question is, what do you do next? Well, once we have gone to Canva, we picked a template. And I'm telling you, that's dead simple. You can sign in with Google, so you don't even have to have a new password. Then you come over here, pick one of these images once you've got your template, and you decide I'm going to replace that with a good one. So let's kill that one. Boom. It's gone. So what do we do next? Well, we could do what we saw some of you do earlier. We could just write a prompt, but it's really problematic sometimes. Sometimes you have to do like a 10 or 20 rounds to get it right. What if you could write the perfect prompt every time? Honestly, I'm going to show you how right now. So here we go. I'm going to show you a shortcut. I want you to see a way to do this without all the complicated work. Now let's create not some corny picture, not a clip art picture, but photorealistic imagery. All right, how do we do that? What I'm going to do is go to this link. Everybody, do you see this link? You may go there now with me. You may want to do this in real time with me. You don't have to. You can come back and do it later. It depends on your learning style. This is an amazing tool, and it's running on what I think is brilliance as opposed to size. And when I say size, I'm referencing the meaning of the size of the team. And I'll share with you how it works in just a moment, but that's just where you need to be to start with. It doesn't cost you any money. And what it does is it simplifies the development of high quality prompts for your imagery. And it does more. What's the next step? Well, here it is. You have to click here. So if you're doing this with me, what we're going to do is for one time, train a model to build you a certain kind of photo. All right. And so we're going to click on that space first. All right. So we're going to name the prompt. We're going to call it realistic photography, or let's call it ICP. Let's call it add photo. All right. Now watch, if you're doing this with me, hit continue. And if you've done that, you're going to pick a style and you're going to pick photography. So everybody do that next. Choose photography. And again, if you're not doing it, you'll watch this as we go through it. Now, once I've chosen photography, I have to pick a style for that. So I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to ask me to pick a style. And I'm going to go with portrait fashion. I'm doing this for a specific reason because I'm creating something for the ad. Now I've clicked that. I'm going to hit continue. Now, that is the primary piece, but it allows me to sort of generate a secondary piece. And so I'm going to now do glamour fashion and photorealism. See the two that I've just highlighted here? I said continue. Now it gets to the next step, which is to train the prompter. How do you train your prompter? I'm going to show you two ways. Way one is to go to Midjourney. And here is the image that was created by the prompt. And by the way, that's the one that you guys created. And if I hit upscale, let's say, which one do you like the most? I'm going to let one person pick. Michael Madden, pick one of the four.
Upper right.
Upper right, this one. All right, so that is 1, 2. If I say upscale 2, it'll make it crisp and clean and ready to use. If I say V2, it'll vary it slightly by allowing me to modify the prompt. And with that modification, I'll get a new version. I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to upscale 2, and it's going to start to build this. But if I go to the stream, I can pick pictures and get the prompts from those photographs. So you can do that in Midjourney, or you can do it in a program called DaVinci. I particularly recommend DaVinci. It's really good, or Leonardo. I'm thinking of the last name instead of the first, but Leonardo.ai. Now, the reason I like this is because it's more robust. It has all these options. It can allow me to change my outputs in a way that I don't have the same control, or is the interface at least isn't as good. And also the underlying principle stable diffusion is different. What I would suggest for you right now, though, is here's what we do. We go to Leonardo AI, and there's a bunch of images there. Do you see that? That's the next step. It's free, by the way. You can just go there, log in with Google, and you'll see this page on the home page. You'll go right in. I'm going to click the next thing. All right. Now I've got to find 5 or 10 prompts. So I'm going to click this, and this is photorealistic prompts, and I want to view more. Now, can you all start to see that you can pick from these an image that you like, the style that you like? Since we're trying to go photorealistic, let's just go up here and say, that's a realistic picture, or there's a realistic picture. Let's take one further down just to get into the meat. All right, so here's a realistic picture. That's not quite what I want. All right, I'm going to take this one. Now watch what happens. I can click on that, and I can copy the prompt. Now, if I copy that prompt, I can come right over here, remember? So here's the first prompt, watch, Control V. It's all in there, and I add prompt, and it's here. I go back to DaVinci. I pick another one that I think might be interesting. You do this 3 to 5 times. I'm going to copy the prompt. I'm going to speed up now so that you can all see this happening in real time and in faster. I'll drop in another prompt. 1, boom, boom. I'm going right now back to DaVinci. Let's just do 3. I would recommend at least 5 in the future. Somebody come back here and pick one more realistic picture. Pick one from the screen right now. Call it out. Which one? Just give me an idea of the picture, which one you're looking at.
The bottom right.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to grab that prompt. No, let's take one in English. I want a quality prompt that produces. There we go. I'm going to copy this. You see why? Just so it's easier for the class right now. And here we go. Now we have prompts in. Add prompt. By the way, you could add 10. You could keep doing this. I'm done. I'm going to stop at 3. I'm going to hit continue. All right, your prompter is now ready to use. That means it's right here and ready. So what do I do now that it's ready? It's so simple now. Now it gets cool. Now I only need to put in a couple of words, 2 or 3 words. So you recall our Canva ad. Let's go back. We are going to talk about some kind of webinar. Somebody give me a photorealistic idea for this picture. Now remember, it's an ad. We need an image, and we would teach this in 300, but that will draw your attention and indicate the value proposition for clicking on the ad. Can anybody tell me something you'd like to put into that? Just give me a 3 or 4 word idea.
How about inspiring presenter?
All right, it's just that. The reason I took only 2 words, because I think it says what we're trying to say. And now here's what happens. If you use Midjourney, you need to do this. See, it says MJ and MJ. You'll know what to put there. These are ratios. Use 16:9 is common. And you can pick which version of Midjourney that you want here. But we're not using Midjourney. We're going to use Leonardo. So we're going to keep our prompt length. Normally it can be short. You see all these lengths? Long tends to produce a better output. There's artistic style. I've chosen this one in advance. Professional photo shoot. Now, I could have done pop art. We could have done all kinds of unusual and powerful pieces. But let's just keep this professional. Remember, it's a seminar on using AI to transform your HR department and their results. Now, I have done that. I have 2 words, and that's all I've changed. You know what I do next? So I got to generate the prompt. Boom. All right, so now it's going to start generating a major prompt for me to use. Now I'm going to copy this to the clipboard and go back to Leonardo. So if I go back from there and I go to my space, see down here where it says AI image generation? Boom. Now I have all these tools. Now I'm going to take this out. I'm going to paste this in. A young male entrepreneur in a sleek charcoal suit. You can read it. I want to make sure that I have prompt magic on. I could shift that from prompt to photoreal. Let's try this. Let's try photoreal first. And now we're going to hit generate. Boom. Now, would you agree with me that those are photo quality and they really have delivered well? Because they look good to me. Could you use that in an ad? I don't know that the subject that we took the picture of is going to produce the output that we want. And bear this in mind. I can change my input dimensions over here for different ad sizes. I can play with this. I have this photoreal piece. I could take my depth of field and go high next time and check that. That'll produce an interesting impact. But there are 4 images. I'm going to take a picture now, and I'm going to, see, I clicked on it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back over to Canva now. And it's kind of this simple. I'm going to paste. And then take this image and first of all, just sort of drag it over where I can get a sense of it. There it is. Now, we have just created an ad, and I'll bet some of you, by the way, you're not that many, probably 20% on here can do this fast, quick, and good now. So what's the point? Here's the point. I can go here now, folks, utilizing this type of capability to produce all kinds of the graphics we need for our web pages. And more importantly, I can use this system right here with G-Prompt. Now it's set up every time I go to train. So let's say that right now I wanted to get a better prompt because I don't like that output. I can go right here and I can tell you if I add more models, remember we were adding those prompts to give it greater guidance, maybe add a couple of words here and hit submit. I'll have a brand new prompt. And that prompt power is ready for you at all times. Also, different models like a photorealistic model, a vector model. A vector is line art for logos and all kinds of things like that. So this piece right here can save you an enormous amount of time and get you the result faster. And if you pull it in DaVinci, you can modify it, change it, improve it in multiple ways.